Aloha from Honolulu, Hawaii. It is February 23rd, 2008, and I want to congratulate Obama and his committee and all of his supporters for a tremendous line of victories and offering us the prospect of perhaps having an intelligent, awake, spiritual, brilliant man in the White House for 2009, and I have not been this excited about the possibility of true democracy and freedom coming back into the American dream for a long, long time, probably way back since JFK and Bobby and Martin Luther King, all who I met actually, and became very inspired with the idea that we Americans make our country what it is. Democracy means of the people, by the people, for the people, and we're the people. And what I think we've unconsciously done is we have turned over so much of our democratic grassroots, in the trenches, powers over to the big, giant, super systems that are doing a terrible job running the world now into terrible condition. Anyway, I've been a teacher for over 35 years in San Francisco. I taught every grade from kindergarten through 8th grade. And as I was saying in my other videos, I had a Neo in the Matrix experience when I had the realization pop into my mind that the public school system was teaching the opposite of democratic principles and democratic thinking and democratic values. It was teaching dictatorship. The public school system, especially since No Child Left Behind and its terrorization program of very unfair testing, which terrifies everybody from parents to administrators to teachers to faculties to children during the entire school year, and causes the entire school year to revolve around terror and fear and competition. Basically, ever since that, the school system has been a kind of a fascist dictatorship run by fear, based on the idea of competition, where only the smartest children are able to rise up. It's stratified like a pyramid, the school system. It rewards the really good athletes and the really smart kids by giving them A's and all kinds of accolades, and then at B, students are treated a little less special, and then C, and then D, and F. No coincidence that our budget goes, so much of the federal budget goes towards building prisons, because we have created an educational system, unfortunately, that produces a stratified society of unawake, zombied out, capitalistic, consumeristic slaves. And that's what I want to talk about. Have a book out called Uncle Tom's Classroom: How One Public School Teacher Awakened His Students to the Cosmic Super Self Within. And Baraka, I'd love to get this book to you if you can, or to your wife, or to your whoever you have in charge of educational reform. Because once I understood clearly and saw from my own eyes, having taught every grade, how by about the age of 12, 13, when they're about in the 6th or 7th grade, kids begin to lose their inner soulful joy, and they begin to sell out, and they begin to believe the false programming and brainwashing of the military-industrial complex that runs the entire agenda that's behind the school system right now, which is, it says simply, it's a religion. It's a religion of money, of gold. Gold is the gold and military power are the two gods of their religion, and everything that we teach in social studies and all through the curriculum revolve around, you are here to get a job, and you better fit into the economic merry-go-round, or you're going to end up homeless on some street, and you're going to be an outcast and an exile from society. But if you sell out what you're really here for, give up your talents and give up your joys, give up your joie de vivre and your bliss, and become people pleasers and teacher pleasers, and try to just fit in to the norm, conform to the norm, then you'll make it. Like I said, smart people can really make the system work. So can athletes. But if you're anywhere below that, which the majority of Americans are, the system actually enslaves you in invisible chains of monetary enslavement, every bit as harsh as the original Uncle Tom and Uncle Tom's Cabin was enslaved, because the plantations today are invisible. They're the large corporations, they're the large banks, they're the large thought systems, even some of the organized religions. As much as I feel America needs a spiritual revolution, many of those organized religions are actually taking people away from their awareness of their inner beingness. And the prohibition of all discussion of the purpose of life in a cosmic divine sense, this whole idea of not allowing that discussion inside the public school environment, that's a real disaster, and it contributes to the school violence that is spreading all around campuses all around the country. What I did in my classroom was I put up a sign that said free speech allowed, with the support of kind administrators and support of parents. I changed the curriculum into what I called a mini democracy, and I treated my children as equals. I stopped terrorizing them and treating them like little slaves or little Uncle Toms, and I said, we are teachers, learners, we're teaching and learning together. What I did in literature was I allowed them to bring in their own books, their novels, classics, even their Bibles if they wanted to, as long as they were willing to share, come up to the podium and share what they were gleaning with the rest of the class. So basically, I had 39 kids packed in my classroom the last year I was there. I'm now living in Hawaii, but I was in San Francisco, thank God. So we had 39 books constantly being shared, and the ideas from those books. In social studies, we examined the one-sided military-industrial complex's worldview. And I also encouraged the children to bring in all kinds of news and histories from their many, many, many countries, because we had all kinds of nationalities represented. But mainly what happened that changed everything was we developed this new language of the cosmic super self, the language of the super self. And we brought in a technique, a strategy called following your bliss. And I allowed the children to develop a curriculum project each semester around their bliss, around their talent, whatever it was that most turned them on. And it turned out that some of the kids really wanted to study about the nature of reality, so they were allowed to study quantum physics. Others were philosophical and wanted to bring in Bibles and all kinds of things like that. Sure, bring them in. We'll have open classroom discussions. Do you know that those children found that they did, in fact, have a cosmic super self within them, because it was this inner genius that was allowed to come forth, because the classroom was now a democracy, a true free crucible for allowing minds to become open. And so we became free thinkers. We questioned the dominant paradigms. We questioned everything that seemed to tell us that we were less than cosmic super selves. We debated evolution versus intelligent design, and the children came up with incredible ideas. They built all kinds of incredible things, like breakdancing robots and 11 feet tall World Trade Centers rebuilt to scale. Some became actors, stem cell researchers. Their test scores soared because they had self-confidence, and for many years I never had a fight in class because they had so much fun being their own kings and queens of their own life force. They loved school, and they learned to really, really appreciate the freedom of what a democracy really feels like, and they respected each other. And so I had Islamic kids helping Jewish kids, and Chinese kids helping Russian kids, and the big bullies were helping the little kids, and everybody felt like, yeah, we're all cosmic supercells, we're all equal in the cosmos, and therefore there's no reason to be angry at each other. And since this is a democracy with freedom of speech, we're all allowed to have our opinion, and the more opinions, the better. Thank you.